Hey everyone, welcome to another video from me, Sean Console Service Center. Today I just want to do something. I want to actually chat to you guys about servicing your gaming consoles. This is a thing you need to do on a yearly basis, preferably straight after your warranty is over. Here in South Africa, the warranty on PS4 consoles is 1 year. So as soon as your warranty is up, bring it into us. Let's do a full service for you on it. This is very, very, very important on these consoles. If you don't do a service, you'll have to start replacing quite a few components eventually in your gaming console. I'm just using a PS4 as an example today. I've used it on all the videos. This is my personal PS4 that I use. Still have the older model. But the most important thing I need you guys to understand is there's a lot of moving parts inside this console. There's your fan, there's your laser that moves up and down when it reads the disc. There are quite a few components. So just like a car, as soon as you have any moving parts, there is wear and tear on it, and it needs to be serviced. I have always said that I don't like the design of the newer consoles coming out now because they are slimmer. They're getting smaller and smaller. From the PS3s, there was the old PS3 Fetch, which was such a nice console. It had two different sections. The board and everything was on top, and the bottom was the whole cooling system. They changed it after that. They brought out PS3 Slim, and then eventually they brought out the PS3 Super Slim, and they're just making them smaller and smaller, and this is actually causing a lot more problems on these consoles. They're not cooling down properly. But what happens is, because they're so small and so tight inside that there's not much space for cooling, they suck in the cold air, and then what they do is they blow out the air in the back of the consoles usually. So usually they would pull it from the sides or the front, and then they would blow all the hot air out the back. So what's happening is all that air it sucks in, it's sucking a lot of dust. So all that dust actually gets stuck in everything. Okay, when I get a console that's really, really bad, actually not even that bad, it's normal, that hasn't been serviced for about a year or two, I'll actually show you what they look like inside. I'll do another video for you guys. But what happens is it goes in between everything. Okay, it gets stuck on all the components in the power supply, all this dust and fluff. It goes into the CD drive itself, the disk drive, and what happens is when the disk drive gets full of that dust, it goes under the laser's lens, which I'll do another video for you just to show you what the lasers look like that actually read your discs. So that fine dust causes major problems on gaming consoles. If you take basically a main board, for instance, what happens is all these little components get full of dust. So dust, I don't know if you guys know this, but dust can actually create a short circuit. So dust can, once there's dust between 2 or 3 components, it can actually run across, any power can run across that dust, and it's static. It causes static, and it can damage components on the main board, can get into your power supply. The power supply basically sits right behind on the back of the PS4s. I'm just taking the PS4 as an example now. Some consoles, you're lucky, they got external power supplies, which is nice, but again, they've got fans in them that actually cool the power supplies down, so they suck in the dust too. So it'll also get stuck on all the components. But what happens then is the dust will create static, or it'll go into the components and it'll cause damage. Your laser runs on 2 little shafts, runs up and down when it reads this. If those shafts have got, they actually do have grease on them, that needs to be replaced at least on a yearly basis minimum. We always recommend every 6 months, but that grease needs to be replaced. Otherwise, what will happen is your laser will, when it's running again on the shafts, it will actually shutter, and that can create it from stop it from reading games, because when the laser shutters on the shafts, and it like jumps on the shaft when it's trying to read, because it's so full of dust, when it jumps around like that, the laser actually moves when it's jumping, so it also doesn't read games. The laser eventually does go because it's just working harder and harder to try and read. And the laser has got a little laser diode in it. That laser diode gets full of dust over the diode, so the laser itself can't go through the laser diode because it's got little mirrors that jumps around in the laser itself to actually project onto the disc. So what will happen is that also just can't read. So you have to bring it in once a year. They need to be done. But one of the most important things I would like to show you is that on your main processor you have this paste. I'll just try and, I'm not going to try and remove everything, but I don't know if you could see that, but there's a little bit of grey paste. You can actually just move this up here. So you can see that grey paste, which we call thermal paste, that needs to be replaced once a year too, because what happens is, like this one, it's actually dried up, it's actually getting so dry. But that's not the main problem. The main problem is that the actual, you can see blank spots where it hasn't made contact with the heatsink, where the fan is that cools this main processor down. So when it creates those blank spots and it doesn't make contact between the main processor and the heatsink that actually bolts down onto this to cool it down, you're going to get hot spots onto your main processor. So that causes the console to overheat. But what it also causes is, it causes the blue light of death, the yellow light of death, the ring of death, the red light of death, the yellow light of death. I'm sure I mentioned that, but it creates a lot of those problems because underneath this processor there's a whole lot of little balls that actually solder balls that make connection to the board. You can't actually remove this processor like a computer's one that just clips off. I think the newer ones are also soldered on like this, but it creates cracks in that solder underneath the chip, underneath the processor. And what happens is when they don't make a connection, it'll give you a blue light. We then have to remove the processor with a BGA machine. We re-ball it again. That's basically putting new solder on the bottom, and then we reflow the chip back onto the main board again, so it's all the little contact points make contact with it again. So that's one of the main risks, but it's very, very important to maintain your console. A lot of guys blow it out themselves. That's caused its own problems because they break the flexes. There's a whole lot of flexes that actually plug into the main board all over the place. Those are just two plugs. There's a flex that plugs into the main board there. Then it plugs into the CD drives. There's a lot of little cables that need to plug in everywhere from all the different components that actually fit onto this board. And a lot of guys break off the flexes or damage the plugs, or when they're pulling the power supply plug off to disconnect it, sometimes they actually break this whole little plug off the board. They're not really put on that nicely, and if you do that, you've got a whole lot of components at the bottom. If it just pulls off a little bit, it can create a short and damage your main board too. So, and you won't even see if the plug's been a bit damaged. So we've had that type of problem too. But you really have to service this at least once a year. You will get a lot more life out of your console. It will give you a lot less problems in the long run. The yearly service will really be cheaper than actually doing a repair every 5 months or 6 months or a year, where you could rather service it once a year and you won't need to come to us that often to actually do any repairs on it. Yes, there will be things that might fail, but that will just minimize the chances of anything failing on it. What we've also noticed is, because the consoles get so hot because they're not getting serviced, the hard drives also pack up. Our hard drive is only rated at I think 55 degrees on your normal hard drives. I think I got a mail from one of our customers the other day. I think your new solid state hard drives, I think, can go up to 65 degrees. But we've had readings where these consoles are going up a lot higher than that. They're actually getting readings of 70 degrees on the hard drive itself. So if that happens, your hard drive eventually fails. and that gives you the problem. That causes a problem for you, where you're going to lose all of the data on the hard drive. Then you can't recover everything. You might be able to take it to data recovery specialists. I'm sure they can charge an arm and a leg just to recover the data. But remember, the format of a lot of these hard drives, the game format, the way they formatted is very different to PC. It's got its own file system and everything. So it's not that easy just to pull the data and reload it again. So that's one of the big problems we've been seeing. We replace about 5 to 8 hard drives a week, and mainly just because gaming consoles, the guys just don't have their console serviced once a year, so it builds up so much dust that it can't cool down, and the fan slows down, the fan is dirty, the heat sinks get blocked, so it can't cool down. The vents, the air vents on the side, also we found that they one of the things you will see is on the side of the air vents, or any air vents on any console, will actually be full of dust inside there. You can look into the back sometimes, just looking through any of the air vents on any console, and you'll see a lot of dust packing up in the console. And that dust gets stuck onto all the power supplies, especially with consoles that's got built-in power supplies. It gets packed up in there, and then it eventually creates a short on the power supply too, and you'll have to then replace the power supply. So yeah, it's a very important thing. Bring your console in once a year to us. Let's do a full service for you. That full service includes complete clean of inside the console, getting rid of 98% of the dust in the console, maybe even 100% sometimes. Just depends how much it is and how fine it is, but we get rid of most of the dust. The main thing is that we do the main processor. We paste it with new thermal paste. We got our own special thermal paste that we've seen consoles coming after 5 years, and they're still actually really good. The thermal paste, it's still working perfectly. The thermal paste that we use is still doing its job. The CD drive, the disk drive, we also open that up. We re-weld all the little gears, because it's got all gears all over the CD drive, the disk drive. We re-weld all that again, re-grease everything again. We clean all the shafts. We get all the dust out of the actual the CD drive or disk drive itself. We get all the dust out there. We make sure everything's moving perfectly up and down. We clean the drive also so that when you put a disk in, it doesn't struggle to take disks or struggle to eject disks. So on a full service, we do all of that. And like I say, in the long run, it's really worth it. So try and at least book your gaming console in with us once a year, just for that full service. Okay, so I know a lot of people that have children and the kids are playing the consoles. They usually book it in before the December holidays, and that's nice because that's when the console gets used the most, and it's the hottest time of the year. And then you'll see when summer starts and it really gets hot. In South Africa, we've had a couple of days now. We've gone up to 33, maybe even 34 here in the Joburg area, Johannesburg area, and you'll see that the console will pick up, the fan will get louder. You might even get an error code on the screen saying that your console is getting hot. If you get those type of warnings, or the fan is getting loud, you need to book the console in. Okay, that's a major problem. Don't carry on using it. You're going to damage something on the board. It's going to overheat. It's really going to damage something. Be careful of excuse me. Be careful of doing any playing with your console after the fan starts picking up, or you get a message it's overheating. That's looking for trouble. That's when the console's trying to tell you something. It's overheating. It's getting hot. There is one thing I just want to say on the PS4 Pro, especially the first generation. It starts with excuse me. The model number starts with a 70. These PS4 Pros they actually have a problem on them. They overheat no matter what you do. You can replace the thermal paste, clean the fan, you can replace the fan, you can clean the whole console out, there's some games, or sometimes even all the games, will actually at the console will stall. The fan still gets loud. It's a problem on the first gen PS4 Pro. You can go search it on Google. There's a lot of people complaining about it. I don't know if Sony's done anything about it. I know the second generation and now the third generation, they look like they've sorted out that fan problem with the fan picking up like a vacuum cleaner. It's actually so loud that while you're playing, especially a game with high graphics, while you're playing, it's so loud that you can't even hear the game. If you're playing with your friends online, I can guarantee you probably won't even hear what they're saying to you. So that's a major flaw on the first PS4 Pro. And again, like I said, to back that up, you can go search it on Google. There's a lot of guys with the same problem, and we've had a lot of customers here who've done a full service because they're having a problem with the first gen PS4 Pro, where the fan does pick up and it doesn't help. No matter what you do, it doesn't sort it out. You can use the best thermal paste. You can wash the whole console out in the inside if you want to. Brand new fans, it doesn't help. It still actually does pick up. So that's just one side note that I wanted to tell you guys. So I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you a little bit more information on why you should you do a full service on your gaming console at least once a year. Very, very important. Don't skip it. If you can, even bring it in every 6 months, 6 to 8 months even. You know, for our customers that's been using us for a while now, if you become a customer of ours, we will give you a discount on your yearly service, just so that we make sure that you maintain it, and we help you keep the costs down as we do on any of our repairs. We try and make it as cheap as possible to get your gaming consoles repaired and do it at the easiest, quickest way we can. So try and bring them in once a year. Let's check them out. Let's do a full service on the drive, the board. Let's clean it out, clean the fan, get the thermal paste done, and you know you're set for it at least another year minimum. So I hope you like this video, and please subscribe to our channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. So every time we do a notification, well, every time we do a little video, you'll get a notification, and you can check out our helpful videos. You know, we're going to be doing a lot more videos on you know, controllers, and we're going to do some reviews on some of the items that we import ourselves, some accessories, and you know, all the different repairs that we do. I'll still do a photo of our workshop one day for you guys, and our front office. I just you know, I sit at home and work. I don't go into the office that often, but I'll do a video for you guys, a little bit of a tour of the workshop, the office, some other time when I get a chance, so you guys can see our workshop. This is not where I work from. This is not the actual business. This is just where everything happens behind the scenes, with the website and all the videos, and ordering all the parts from overseas, and all the accessories and that. So yeah, keep a lookout for that video. When we do that video, I'll post it up for you guys and just do a proper tour of our offices and our workshop, and then you can see what it looks like, how our operation works, and how many repairs we get in, and how we do things. Please guys, support our channel, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon, and get notified every time we upload a video. Have an awesome day. I'll chat to you guys soon, and can't wait to do the next video for you guys. Cheers for now.